Hello students, here I'm making one video on this tree diagrams. This paper is written by Kirti Azad Mandava, and first I would like to thank him because it's very good paper. So I would like to share with you and try to explain you. However, link and this of uh, diagram is not being open, but then we will learn something. That's why I'm making a video on it. So that is in the previous chapters we have learned about constituents and phrase structure. So we know that language has a structure that is based on near arrangement of different constituents in a particular order. So first of all we have to understand that what's the language. Every language has a structure and that is based on near arrangement of different constituents in a particular order. That is very important. Now each constituent in the structure has a specific function. Again, that is the part of IC analysis. Each constituent in the sentence has a specific function, right, and shares certain relationship. So function and a relationship, right, and a relationship, which is very important. We have to remember, right? Functions and relationship with other constituents in the structure. Ferdinand de Saussure has explained these as a syntagmatic and paradigmatic relationship, right? Syntagmatic relationship, we have to understand what's a syntagmatic relationship. Syntagmatic relationship are linear relationship between constituents in a given structure. For example, in a statement in English, the verb comes after the subject, means this is the arrangement. Verb come after the subject and agrees with the subject for person, number and gender, right? Another example I'm just giving you. They have given the example as in the sentences given below. First and second, that is and third and fourth, right? So that is syntagmatic relationships, means these all four are the examples of syntagmatic relationship. These are all are syntagmatic relationship. Why I'm explaining you? That's a birds. So that's a birds is plural. So subject is verb is plural. Why? Because birds is plural, then fly is plural. So that is plural and that is plural. Now in next case here, the bird, that's singular, and flies is singular. You know that when s is added in the noun or noun, so that becomes plural. I'm repeating. When s is added in the noun, it becomes plural. But when s is added in the verb, it becomes singular. So that is, you have to remember, the bird is singular and flies is singular. Same case, fish swim, right? And the fish swims. So actually plural of fish is fish only. So here fish is plural and swim is plural. And in this case fish is singular. Fish is, in this case, fish is singular. The fish is singular and that's why swims is singular, right? Okay. So that is called, what is called? These are syntagmatic relationship. Means when you have to, when subject and subject verb first of all, verb comes after the subject. So that is first thing. Secondly, verb is used, and then there should be agreement between subject and verb. If subject is singular, verbs should be singular. If subject is plural, then verb will be plural. That is syntagmatic. Now let us understand paradigmatic relationship. Paradigmatic relationship, the relationship between the constituents that belong to same category and therefore share the same function in the sentence. For example, in first and third, birds and fish share paradigmatic relationship, and so do fly and swim. Okay, so paradigmatic means birds cannot swim, so birds fly. The relationship between two things, that's a birds can only fly and fish swim, and fish cannot fly, so birds cannot swim and fish cannot fly, so birds can just fly and fish can swim. So this relationship is called paradigmatic. Okay, now these functions and relationships between categories and constituents in phrase or any other structure may also be derived as a rule of grammar. What? Functions means subject and verb agreement, or their relationship means birds fly and fish swim. That between these functions and relationship between categories and constituents in a phrase or any other structure may also be derived as a rule of grammar. So paradigmatic and syntagmatic, these are the rules. So these can be represented in many ways based on our own convenience for the sake of the study. These can be represented in many ways based on our own convenience for the sake of study. Okay, however, in syntax there are two usual ways of representing the structure. They are tree diagram, means what they are saying that this relationship means relationship functions and relationship can be explained with so many ways, but here what they say that generally what they say that however syntax is a structure. There are two usual ways of representing the structure. Tree diagram, what they say that tree diagram and labeled bracketing in this chapter. So tree diagram in labeled bracketing, right? Now the chapter will learn how to represent the structure of phrase, clause or a sentence. Wait a minute. Phrase, clause or a sentence है ना? So now okay, so this is what they say that in this chapter we will learn how to represent the structure of a phrase, clause or many sentence or a sentence using tree diagram with examples. So here actually tree diagram is not being open, but then we will try to understand through explanation only. So let us start with the first one, that is tree diagram and labeled bracketing are ways of representing the relationship between constituents. So here tree diagram is not being open. I tried many a time. I don't know what's the problem. So that is leave. But yes, that is birds fly. So first of all we have to create big that is bracket. Why? Because they are saying that there are two ways of representing that is first is tree diagram or labeled bracketing. So labeled bracketing, through labeled bracketing we will try to understand, because tree diagram is not being open. So that is labeled bracketing. So here sentence is birds fly, right? So how? First of all, this is the sentence, birds fly. So that's a sentence, right? Now sentence is divided into two parts. That is, this is the sentence, right? Birds fly. But that is noun phrase is what? Birds. Noun phrase is birds. Okay. Then fly is verb phrase. So this is called bracketing. This is all the words in a sentence in a big bracket. Then this is divided into two parts. Noun phrase is birds, verb phrase is fly. Sorry, here fly. So verb phrase is fly in two brackets, right? So that is called bracketing, labeled bracketing. Now, in first we see the representation of the sentence in one using in tree diagram. In second we see the representation of the same sentence using label bracketing. In label bracketing, the sentence is put in square brackets. The constituents are enclosed in square brackets too. The label at the leftmost bottom corner of the bracket gives the information about the grammatical category of the constituents. In second, the first open square bracket comes with the first is not being open, that's actually that is not label bracketing is not being open, but yes, we can see that this one in second one, that's the second one, because here it's not being open. So let's see, that's the second one. What they say they are saying that in second, the first open square bracket comes with the label S, that is something like this S. So that is S, then encloses the whole sentence, this is enclosed, to indicate that birds fly in a sentence. So that is birds fly. The next open bracket with the NP, that's a NP, indicates that birds in noun phrase. NP is what? That is birds. Birds. And the third open bracket, that is called open bracket, that's a third open bracket with open bracket with VP, right, and indicates fly. Here fly will come and it will be closed. So this will look like this. That's a sentence, and that's a one open bracket noun phrase, that birds, okay, then close, then next open bracket verb phrase, then fly, and then this one. This is the way indicates that fly is a verb phrase. Every bracket that is open has to be closed as well. In second we see that 3 open brackets equal 3 closed brackets. So that is called, these all are called open brackets and these all are called closed brackets, right? Okay. Now we shall understand basics of tree diagram with the help of example 1 in the later section of this chapter. We shall learn to draw tree diagram for different types of phrases, clauses and sentences. The tree diagram in 1 is given below, again for easy reference, that is not being open. Anyway, the tree diagram, as we know already, is a notation of the structure of the sentence. Tree diagram is the notation of the structure of the sentence, means how sentence is arranged, right, in order to make it easy for us to understand and explain the structure. So why do we make tree diagram? So that we can understand the structure of the sentence, right? Here S, NP and VP are called nodes, right? So that is nodes, okay. S is subject, noun phrase and verb phrase, these are called phrase. The lines that move from S to NP and VP are called branches. So that is I'm making here only, this is node, this is node and this is node. So these are called branches, these are branches, right? Okay, now there is a linear relationship and also hierarchical relationship between the nodes and other constituents of the structure. So linear relationship, this is linear relationship, sorry, This is linear relationship this way, and hierarchical relationship this way. I am going to explain you. Wait a minute. And hierarchical between nodes and other constituents of the structure. Right now. So we say that NP and VP are sister nodes as they share a linear relationship between them. So this is called NP and VP are sister nodes as they share linear relationship between them. So these are, because this is NP and this is VP, so this is linear. So that is called sister nodes. Sister nodes. Okay. Now sister nodes as they share linear relationship between them, like the sisterhood. They occur at the same level and show syntagmatic relationship. Means number, person, right? And this should be balanced, right? Here we have seen that number, person, and all, right? So that should be mentioned. I am just telling you that because so that you should remember the thing. This is right. It should be satisfied with person, number, and gender. Okay. Now, so that is there. Now similarly, S is the mother node and NP and VP is the daughter nodes. So S is mother node, that is mother node, and these are NP and VP are daughter nodes. Okay. Now, as they share hierarchical relationship between them, because these are the hierarchies, that daughter node then mother node. We see that S dominates the NP and the VP. Of course, it is at higher level than NP and VP. Of course, sentence has higher level than NP and VP, noun phrase and verb phrase. We also understand that NP and VP are the immediate constituents of S. Okay, so that's the immediate constituents of S, NP and VP, right? Okay, now the triangle in this tree diagram indicates that this tree diagram does not show the complete analysis of the structure down to its last constituents. Suppose there is, right now I cannot give you example, but sometime you will find this kind of structure. So this means that the analysis, the diagram does not show the complete analysis of the structure to its last constituents. So then this triangle notes that it is not completed complete analysis. Okay, now instead it denotes that the analysis is incomplete and that this tree can be analyzed further down into other constituents of NP and VP. Whatever the analysis is complete, we see branches and not triangles in tree diagram. Okay. Now, constituents of phrases, very important. We also know that there could be different kinds of phrases such as noun phrase, verb phrase, prepositional phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, right? So that's a noun phrase, verb phrase, prepositional phrase, adjectival phrase, and adverb phrase, right? Okay. Now each phrase gets its name, very important. Each phrase gets its name from the head, which is the most important and obligatory constituents in the phrase. So in any phrase there will be the head. Therefore the noun is the head of noun phrase. Therefore the noun is the head of noun phrase. there cannot be a noun phrase without noun. So noun must be in noun phrase. Similarly, verb is the head of the verb phrase, preposition is the head of prepositional phrase, adjective is the head of adjective phrase, and adverb is the head of adverb phrase, right? Okay, now in the previous chapters you have already studied the structure of the noun phrase and the verb phrase. In this section we shall learn to draw the tree diagram for the structure of these phrase, noun phrase. First, let us look at the noun phrase. We know that noun phrase may have just one constituent, the head of the noun phrase, which is also the only obligatory constituent of noun phrase. Again, important, the head of the noun phrase, that's a obligatory or important constituent of noun phrase. T diagram is not open, but then T diagram and NP is a single constant which is not open, birds. Okay, now however what they say, NP is a single constant which look like in the following example. So that's the T diagram for noun phrase. However, phrase is the group of word, but single constituent, that is also called, birds is called noun phrase. However, in this birds fly, this is noun phrase, and fly is verb phrase, and there is single word but then single constituents is also comes in the phrase, so that will be noun phrase, and fly is the verb phrase. Okay, now here the immediate constituents of NP is the N, which is the head, so that will be and the immediate constituents of N is the noun bird. The tree is complete as it has only branches and no triangle, because that is solved. I'm just making for you. That's a birds fly. So tree diagram of birds fly is sentence. That's a noun phrase and then verb phrase, right? I'm making it again. That's a sentence, noun phrase, verb phrase. Noun phrases, that's a noun, birds, right? And verb fly. This will be the tree diagram. The noun phrase can also have more constituents as shown below. Here noun phrase actually phrase because the birds. So that is the birds fly. The birds flies, that is flies. Okay. So here sentence and then noun phrase verb. Sorry. That's a sentence, noun phrase, verb phrase. Here noun phrase is divided, determiner, the, right, and then noun, birds, right, and verb phrase, verb, that is flies. This way. Okay. Now the noun phrase here has the determiner and the noun head as its immediate constituents, right? The immediate constituents of the determiner here is an article, I have already explained, and the immediate constituents of noun is the noun birds. Okay, so that is already explained. We need to know that there can be only one determiner in the structure of noun phrase. Important, very important. We need to know that that's a mistake. We need to know that there can be only one determiner in the structure of noun phrase. Important, only one determiner in the noun phrase. Please, you have to remember, it is possible for the noun phrase to have another noun phrase in its structure. It is possible to have noun phrase it is possible for noun phrase to have another noun phrase in its structure, but never would it have more than one determiner in the same noun phrase. Important, but never would it have one more than one but never would it have more than one determiner in the same noun phrase. Means you just have to remember that in noun phrase there is only one determiner. Determiner. Okay. Now let us consider two more example of noun phrase with the determiner. That is not being open. My mother, my brother, right? So that is not being open. In the tree diagram 4 we can see noun phrase with the possessive pronoun. What is possessive pronoun? Possessive pronoun is this is possessive pronoun. My possessive pronoun is my, mine, our, ours, your, yours, right? His, her, hers. These are the possessive pronoun, right? So here my brother, my is possessive pronoun. Now so that's a my brother. In that my brother, my is possessive pronoun. There is just one determiner in that noun phrase. It is represented in the structure, and in the tree diagram 5 actually it's not open. We see noun phrase with a genitive possessive, and the determiner here has another NP, my brother, right? So that is the grammar. Genitive is possessive, actually my brother, as a consequence along with the genitive possessive marcus s, means my brother, right? So that is uh, without diagram here. Sorry, I cannot explain you. I will explain you if it is open, right? But let us move. Okay, now let us move with on the tree diagram with an adjective phrase in the noun phrase. That is also important. Adjective phrase in the noun phrase. Here adjective phrase is that is the beautiful garden is the noun phrase, but in the noun phrase there is adjective phrase also, because this whole will be known as noun phrase, but beautiful garden is an adjective phrase. Okay, so that is uh, in a tree diagram with a noun phrase diagram, that is with a adjective phrase in the noun phrase, means noun phrase and adjective phrase. And noun phrase can have more than one adjective phrase in it. So in a noun phrase there may have more than one adjective phrase. Okay, we shall look at the structure of adjective phrase in more detail in later section. Okay, tree diagram again not open, but in this tree diagram the structure of adjective phrase has not yet been analyzed completely. That is why we see triangle, because they must have made triangle. So in the tree below to the prepositional phrase, why has not been completely analyzed and therefore is denoted using a triangle. So that is not open. But what is prepositional phrase? I'm telling you, all the three little birds in my garden, right? So that is called a noun phrase. Okay, that whole is a noun phrase. Okay, then all the three little birds, right? So here all the three little birds, that is as a whole noun phrase, right? Then again it is noun phrase, and this is in the garden is the prepositional phrase, because in is a preposition. Okay, now then diagram for all constituents of the NP. In the model tree diagram we see the obligatory constituent n, and see in noun phrase obligatory means compulsory. What is compulsory? Noun phrase means noun is compulsory, and all the other optional constituents, and others are optional, it may or may not be, but in noun phrase noun is compulsory. Then those preceding the head are the pre-modifiers. Means modifiers are, I told you, that's a, what's a modifier? Modifier means which modify the word adjective. Three little birds, right? So these this is little birds is noun, and then little is, that's a adjective, right? And this is also adjective. So three little birds. So two adjectives are there, but then first adjective will be known as modifier. Okay, now, so in this model tree diagram, we see obligatory constituent n, means in noun phrase, and noun is very important. Those preceding the head of the pre-modifiers and those that follow the head are called post-modifier. So what is pre-modifier and post-modifier? Pre-modifiers, that is found before noun, and here suppose another modifier after the noun, which is called post modifier, and this is pre-modifier. Okay, now, and those that follow the head are called post modifier, which is already discussed. Okay, these pre-modifiers and post modifiers add to the meaning of the head. So that is pre-modifier and post modifier adds meaning into the, so that is pre-modifier. Bird is noun, so here this is a pre-modifier, right? And then post modifier, that is I tell you, right? So that is there. Now post modifier are given in the model 8. 8 is not being open. Note that the order in which these occur is also fixed and is represented in the tree diagram. Among the pre-modifiers, there is usually not more than one pre-modifier, predeterminer, determiner, ordinal number, and quantifier. I'm telling you all these. Predeterminer, right? And determiner is a and the, my, this, that, all words are called determiner, which determines the noun, right? Ordinal number and cardinal number. Ordinal number is order, which shows the order is called ordinal number, and then quantifier, which shows the quantity, some, little, many, are called quantifier, which shows the quantity. Okay, so but these, there could be more than one adjective phrase or noun phrase. So but there could be more than one adjective phrase or noun phrase. Now, and generally a prepositional phrase or clausal constituent occur as the post modifiers. These could be more than one prepositional, there could be more than one prepositional phrase or clause in noun phrase. So that is also generally prepositional phrase or clausal constituent occur as the post modifier. I'm telling you post modifier in this sentence. That's a prepositional phrase. So this is the noun, this is pre-modifier. These two things modify the word. 3, they are talking about bird. How many birds? 3. And a little. So these two words are called pre-modifier. Pre-modifiers. Modifiers. Okay. And in the garden comes after the verb, after the noun, that is in the garden. That prepositional phrase is called post modifier. Modifiers, because they are talking about where are the birds, right? So that is called post modifier. Now, post modifier are given in the model 8. Note that in order which these occurs are fixed and represented tree diagram. So what they are talking about, the same post modifier, that is wait a minute, this is I was talking about. And generally prepositional phrase or clausal constituent occur as the post mod. So prepositional phrase in the garden we have seen, right? there could be more than one prepositional phrase or clause in the noun phrase. So prepositional phrase can be more than one. In the garden, at the roadside. So that is also at the roadside, right? That is also prepositional phrase. Okay. Often relative clauses occur in the clausal constituents in and NP. Relative clauses means the girl who is my daughter. So who is my daughter is, that is relative clause. Okay. So that is something about noun phrase. Now moving to verb phrase. In this section we shall look at the tree diagram for verb phrase. The verb phrase is an immediate consequence of sentence along with noun phrase. The verb phrase can have the verb and other constituents. In verb phrase, verb is necessary, and other constituents, what comes under verb phrase? Noun phrase, prepositional phrase, adverb phrase, adjective phrase. Means almost in verb phrase anything can become. In verb phrase, noun phrase comes, prepositional phrase, adjective phrase, and adverb phrase. Okay, all phrases come under verb phrase. The VP has two obligatory constituents. What the obligatory means? Compulsory constituents, auxiliary and the verb or main verb, helping verb and main verb, right? The auxiliary has tense as its obligatory constituents. Means auxiliary is the compulsory part, right, of a verb phrase, and there may be other optional constituents such as modal. This is what are optional constituents is modal, perfective aspect, right, had, has, have, progressive aspect, ing form, right, teaching, creating, and passive is done or something this way. So these are optional as shown in the model tree diagram for VP given in sentence 10, which is not being opened, which could serve as a model tree diagram for the structure of VP. Tense denotes whether the verb is in its past tense form or present tense form in the phrase, clause or sentence where it is used. So the tense is shown through the verb. You just remember that any tense is definitely is shown through the verb, right? If there is a model in a VP, suppose model means uh, they would like to go there. So would is model. So model in VP, it is shown in its base form in the tree diagram. So model is shown in the base form, like they would like to go there, but would will be shown as will, right? Then when there is perfective aspect used in the verb phrase, the tree diagram indicates that there is have used as a helping verb along with the past participle form of the main verb. So that have is have, have, and had. Always these are called perfective, right? Always followed by third form of main verb. This way also you can remember. Wait a minute. First let me tell you that what then perfective aspect. Perfect is a perfect. Perfective aspects means has, have, had will be followed by third form of main verb, and which is called perfective aspects. Okay, same they are telling in the verb phrase. The tree diagram indicates that there is have used as a helping verb along with past participle form of main verb, right? So that is past participle form. So that's have done, for example, have done. So what is have used as helping verb here, and done is have is helping verb, and done is past participle form. That is past participle form of the main verb. Okay. Now similarly for the progressive aspect, it is indicated that there is be as the helping verb and the present participle form in the main verb. So what is, suppose that's a I am going, I am going, right? So M is B, that is B. So that's a be as the helping verb and the present participle form is the main verb, and present participle, that's present participle of the main verb. And also for passive, it is shown that be is the helping verb with the past participle form of the main verb. Past participle of the main verb, that is have been being written, that is past participle. And then the verb in its base form is shown as the immediate. Some of the words actually I am not able to tell you detail because that is not being open, but yes, might have been being written, right? So a verb can also have other kinds of phrases as its constituent, as we have already said. Other constituents means prepositional phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, etc. In the tree diagram 11 to 14, we see that noun phrase, prepositional phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase as the constituents of VP respectively. So the VP in English can take any other kind of phrase as its constituents as stipulated by word order. However, these are always optional constituents of VP, so that all these PP, this prepositional phrase, verb, that's a prepositional phrase, and adjective phrase, adverb phrase, these are optional. There could be more than one of these phrases constituents within the same VP, right? So that's a more than one. An example of VP with 2 NP is shown in the tree diagram 15, not being open, right? Apart from these, a VP may also have a clausal constituent as shown in the later section. Okay, so that is there. Now, but her buy her a ring. Now, that is not much clear because of lack of information or because of it is not being open. Now let us see prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase begins with preposition. That is very important. Phrase begins with preposition and usually has two obligatory constituents. Of course, preposition head and noun phrase. So in prepositional phrase, what's the preposition head and noun phrase? Sometime it may have also it may also it may have other constituents to, most probably another PP. So within PP another PP, and generally not any other kind of phrase. PP is followed by PP, prepositional phrase. PP actually what are the prepositional phrase? In prepositional phrase, of course, preposition and noun phrase along with prepositional phrase. Sometime another prepositional phrase is there, right? So what they are saying that. So and then most another PP, and generally not any other kind of phrase. So that's a these PP. In PP, some PP preposition, then noun phrase, or sometime another prepositional phrase. That's it. Apart from this, no other consonants are found in prepositional phrase. The example of tree diagram for the structural PP are given 16, 17, not being open. The preposition in and NP, the garden. So in the garden, I'm telling you, suppose in the garden, right? In the garden. So in is preposition and that's a noun phrase, right? So this way, that's a in the garden, in the garden. So that's a in, first in will be dropped, that's a preposition. Then a noun phrase, and then noun phrase, the article determiner, then noun, garden. This way it will be same they are telling, right? An optional constituent along with the two usual obligatory constituents of the pp. The p head with the preposition from and the pp behind the curtain are the immediate constituents of pp, and then further the embedded pp also has its obligatory constituents with preposition behind as the p head and curtain as the noun phrase. So that is actually not being open, that's why I'm helpless to explain you. But in the garden, that's a preposition I have already. From behind the curtain, so the okay, what they are telling you that the we see that the along with two usual obligatory constituents pp, p head and prepositional from, right, preposition from and pp behind the curtain are the immediate constituents of pp, and then further the embedded pp also has its obligatory constituents. It's not it's a obligatory and with preposition behind. Okay, I'm telling you, that is from behind the curtain. So that is from, that's 1p, and behind the curtain, that is pp, right? And then behind is preposition behind, okay, and then noun phrase, and then noun phrase divided has this. Now come to the adjective phrase. The adjective phrase has the adjective as its head, as its only obligatory constituent. Of course, in adjective phrase, head is adjective, right? As shown in the tree diagram in 18, it may have also optional constituent such as degree. Optional is what? Optional constituent such as degree, which may sometime be called intensifier, right? Very, very beautiful, right? So that is called, all very are intensifier because it intense the beauty. So intensifier in the tree diagram 19 we see, okay, very is the intensifier. They have given, I think, same example, very beautiful, so that very is intensifier. Okay, now the adjective phrase may also have other phrases add as its optional constraint. In the tree diagram 20 we see that the adjective found as the adjective head and uh, the prepositional phase of films as the optional constraints. And in the tree diagram, which is not given here na? Okay, in the tree diagram we see that an adverb phrase may also be an optional constraint of adjective phrase. So that's the adverb phrase is the optional constraints of adjective phrase. Here the adverb phrase smartly is the optional constraints, and adjective adjective dressed in the obligatory. Actually sentence is not being shown. Adverb phrase, another phrase, there is only obligatory constant just like adjective phrase. So that is adverb phrase, there is only obligatory constraints just like in the adjective phrase, that is adverb phrase. So adverb is only the obligatory constituents. It is the adverb head. What is compulsory? Adverb head. In the tree diagram 22 we see the example where adverb luckily in the adverb head, the adverb phrase can also have an obligatory constituent, the degree or intensifier, loudly, right? So that's a degree or intensifier. Now clausal constituents. So far we have looked at the representation of constituents in different kinds of phrases in the tree diagram. Now let us look at the tree diagram of clause and sentences, right? That was the phrase. Now let us discuss clause and sentences. Sentences may have just one clause or more than one clause. So in a sentence it may have one clause or more than one clause. So first we shall look at the tree diagram for single clause sentence and then sentence with more than one clause. Okay, single clause sentence. When a sentence has just one clause in it, it will have noun phrase, and means in one clause there will be noun phrase and verb phrase as its immediate constituents. This is a sentence, noun phrase and verb phrase, immediate constituents. Like we have seen in the earlier section 24, we see an example of tree diagram for single clause sentence. We see that all constituents are analyzed right up to the last constituents. Therefore we see only nodes and branches and no triangles. Notice that all the phrases in the NPVP are fully analyzed and represented to complete the tree diagram for the sentence. The sentence I love syntax has I as NP and love syntax is VP. I love syntax. That's the sentence, right? So sentence, noun phrase, verb phrase, noun I, and love syntax, that's a VP, verb love, and that's a syntax. So that is that is noun phrase, right? So that's a noun phrase and that's a verb phrase, that is love syntax. So that is noun phrase and noun is, that is syntax, this way. Okay, now sentence with more than one clause. We already know that sentence has an NP and VP as its immediate constituents. So any additional clausal constituents in the structure have to be part of either the NP or the VP or both. We see an example of tree diagram for a causal constraints in NP. The causal constraints is who is standing there. So their causal is who is standing there. It is post modifier which adds to the meaning of the noun head, man. And the man, this is the example, the man who's standing there is my brother. Okay, so here head is the man, right? This is the head, man. So the sentence has man, the man who is standing there as a noun phrase, right? Noun phrase, and is my brother as verb phrase because is, that's a verb phrase. The clause who is standing there in NP is represented as a sentence. This is NP, but that's a sentence also within the NP, which in turn has who as its noun phrase, that is noun phrase, who as in its noun phrase, and is standing, that is verb phrase. Okay, very interesting and good. So that is the man who's standing, right? So that will be like this, the man. So that's the man is noun phrase, but then another sentence is there, right? In that sentence, that's a noun phrase, that's noun is who, right? And verb phrase is standing there, so that is verb, and then the standing, that's a main verb, and then there, so that's a, there is adverb, so that's a adverbial phrase, right? And then stand is verb, main verb, and there is adverb, is my brother. So this way I think diagram is not there. Now we shall look at an example for clausal constraints in VP in the tree diagram. Sorry, and then I NP and said that he will come tomorrow. So I said that these are the actually tougher variety, that he will come tomorrow. This is the example, that he will come tomorrow. This clausal constraint is analyzed in tree diagram as, since it has the complement that start generally from that, if, whether, these are called complementizer, and S with the clause he will come tomorrow as its constituents, right? So that is he will come tomorrow, that he will come tomorrow, that is okay. Now binary trees. In the last section we looked as trees for various phrases. The trees that grow down and to the right are right branching, and trees that grow down and to the left are left branching. The direction of branching reflect the position of the head of the branch. Okay, so that is binary. Binary is actually not required to you. Now come to the phrase structure rules, which is very important, as we have been using tree diagram to represent the structure of various phrases. So tree diagram is used to represent the structure of various phrases, very important, which allow us to describe syntactic structure of the phrase under study. Syntactic is sentence structure, right, under the phrase. The phrase structure are used to break down a natural language sentence into its constituent parts. So phrase are used for breakdown, right, the sentence. Okay, now also known as syntactic categories, including both lexical categories, part of speech is called lexical categories, and phrasal categories. Okay, the first rule reads, a sentence as constants of an NP noun phrase followed by verb phrase. Okay, the second rule reads, a noun phrase consists of an optional determiner, that is optional determiner followed by noun, right? Then third rule means that noun can be preceded by optional AP or adjective phrase, right? So that's the third rule, what noun can be preceded by that is adjective phrase, and followed, preceded by means here that's a noun, that is noun phrase, that's a noun can be preceded by AP adjective phrase and followed by PP. That's a rule. Adjective phrase always comes this side and prepositional phrase always come this side. Important information. So that's a noun phrase can be preceded by an optional AP and followed by an optional PP, but always take care that's a noun, right? So that noun can be here preceded by that is AP adjective phrase and followed by PP prepositional phrase. Okay, so the noun or the round brackets indicate optional constraints, so that in sentence these are the mandatory part, NP and VP. In noun phrase this is in the bracket, determiner is optional, AP adjective phrase is optional, noun is compulsory, prepositional phrase is also optional. In VP, verb is mandatory, auxiliary and NP is optional. PP is mandatory, and prepositional phrase that's a that is preposition phrase, that's a these are two are optional. Okay, right? Now summary. In this chapter we have learned that tree diagram are essential tools for linguistic working in the area of syntax. Tree diagrams capture the sentence structure, and so they capture the sentence structure and help us understand The relationship among the constituents, relationship among the constants of the phrase. So different phrases and what's the relationship of different phrases with one another. We have also discussed that in the building up tree diagram we have the head of the phrase and its branches out to take either a specifier or complement. So other branches are called specifier or a complement. All phrases are characterized by obligatory head and derive their name from the head. Of course, obligatory head, noun phrase, verb phrase, this way. While working out the tree representation, one could work it down to the level of the words or to the level of an unspecified complement, in which case it can be left as a triangle. Suppose it is unspecified or unspecified complement is given, so then we can make the triangle which is left as a triangle. And that is why? Because unspecified complement. In the genitive work for work framework, branching of node is already binary, always binary. The phrase structure rules provide an essential structure of all sentences in a language by spelling out the specifier and complements for the each phrasal head. So the tree will conform to the phrase structure rule. So that is, conform means follow. The follow tree will follow the phrase structure rule. Okay. Now you can, video is not, so that is there. I think very informative paper and you must have got the idea. Thank you so much. God bless you.